I think the one part of the book that kind of made me laugh a little bit was that at one point it was announced that Magic Johnson had signed like the biggest basketball deal ever, and he was making $1 million a year. And you were like, I got $1 million on my bed over there. like only $1 million for a whole year?
Yeah, it was,
like I make that in a day.
Yeah, when the Lakers renewed his contract, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, only $1 million? Glad I don't play basketball.
I'd be broke as hell. So you were making way more money than Magic Johnson, who was the most recognizable basketball player or pretty much sports figure at that point in the country.
Yeah, he was. Him and Larry Bird was.
Him and Larry Bird.
Yeah, they shared it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, one lawyer told me that at that time I could have been making more money than Walmart. So he said the numbers was like, I was like, what? He was like, Walmart wasn't making those kind of numbers back then in the 80s. So I don't know, man. It like I said, it was something that I stumbled up on, and it was only when I went to jail that I really learned that I was using some principles, and that I was practicing business the way the people who run this country practice business. You know, I didn't do everything the way they did. I made some mistakes. You know, I didn't really know how to turn it on at this time and how to turn it off at that time. And it was only then that after I started learning how to read that I learned what I was doing.
So before you met, Danilo Blandon, who ended up being your plug afterwards, how much cocaine were you purchasing at that time, like at a given time? Was it in the hundreds of kilos or not?
No,
really?
not at that time. We were probably buying like, when we started with Danilo, let me see. Yeah, we were buying kilos, because they was tricking us at first. They were making us buy pounds. Ivan and Henry had us buying pounds, and they were selling us pounds at almost. Say for instance, we were paying at one time like $17,000 for a pound. So if we'd have been buying a kilo, we would have probably only been paying like $35,000, but we'd have got extra 4 ounces every time. So they were taking out those extra 4 ounces on us every time. So we were buying about 18, 19 pounds from them on pretty much a daily basis.
And I guess you paid $60,000 in order to meet Blandon.
Blandon, yeah. Ivan had got shot.
That was your connect.
Yeah, had Ivan not get shot, LA would have been through.
What do you mean?
I wouldn't, because I never would have even had to go to Miami. We only went to Miami after Ivan got shot.
Okay.
When Ivan was healthy, we was killing the game. I mean, it wasn't no competition. Like later on, all these guys came in and the Colombians, but they would have never got in had Ivan not got hurt.
Okay.
Because we were so far ahead of the market at that, even though we were paying ridiculous prices for kilos, but nobody else could compare with the product that we were getting and the price we was getting. See, we was out of business. We did a whole year where we didn't do no business and we had money. We had, I think, me and I probably had at that time maybe like close to $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So for a year, we was just living off our money and spending and not selling no cocaine after Ivan got shot. So it was only when David Child came that we were able to get back started in business, because we didn't know nobody that we could spend our money with. Like, we got $600,000. We want to spend $600,000 on cocaine. Who can fade us? So it was nobody that could fade us at that time.
Well, then Blandon came in, and you started moving up to like 150 kilos a day.
Well, he came in after Ivan got shot. Henry had started to try to come back and take over his business. Somehow Ivan had got his health back up where he was totally paralyzed from the neck down. So one day I get a call, and we've been going to Miami buying dope now. Now we're going to Miami like every week, once a week going to Miami. So I get this call, and it was Ivan, and he was in Rancho Dominguez Hospital, and he wanted to see me. So we go out, and I talk to him, and he's in the thing, and he's like, well, I'm going to have you to start working with my brother-in-law, and he going to take care of the business. Everything going to be just like it used to be, no problems. So we started, and Henry wasn't ready with it. So what Henry did is Henry got smart, and he said, well, what I'm going to just sell Rick the connection. And he did it without Ivan knowing. So I paid him $60,000, and Danilo paid him $60,000 for the connect.
Right. So he got $120,000 off just setting up a meeting.
Yeah.
And then once that happened,
well, it was back like it was before Ivan got shot.
Well, it seemed like it was bigger.
It was, but remember I told you that had Ivan not get shot, it wouldn't have been nobody else in the cocaine business. But when he got shot, it stifled us for like a year.
Well, I guess once Blandon got in the picture, you were moving up to $3 million of cocaine a day.
Well, yeah, it went to another level because he took it down even cheaper than what Ivan had did. But at the same time, Colombians had also moved into the game too.
And what happened with that?
Well, the price was going down.
Aha.
And we were no longer able to dictate. At one time, I was able to dictate the price. Like, say for instance, like, well, you read the book. Some of the guys in the book, some of them got mad I put their name in the book. But with some of these guys that were coming to me who was like shot callers from their area, they would buy like 10 kilos. When they would buy 10 kilos, I might make $200,000 off that one guy. My profit margin was crazy because I'm making $10,000 off of every kilo I sell him.
Yeah.
But that margin started to shrink as the Colombians started to come in, and other groups started to come in and started to flood the market with cocaine. Little Tommy out now too.
Who is this?
Little Tommy.
And he was?
Little Tommy was one of my guys who later became one of my competitors.
Okay.
Him and Waterhead Bowl was like became like my biggest competitors in the business.
Okay. Was it
and both of them out of jail now. They both had life sentences too.
Aha. Was it a friendly competition or a violent competition?
No, we wasn't gonna fight. We was like we like brothers.
Okay.
But that is what ran the price down. See, remember we were paying 40 something a kilo, and then at one time, last kilos I bought like 9.5. So the price plummeted, but the profit margin didn't. It went from, say for instance, at that time I'm making 10, 12,000 off a kilo to now I'm making 2,500 off a kilo.
And you were just dealing with Blandon, so you would just bring him a ton of cash, and he'd give you a ton of cocaine, and that's it. Yeah. You weren't responsible for getting it into this country.
No.
You weren't trying to...
Didn't know how he was getting it in. Didn't want to know how he was getting it in. That was none of my business.
Right, and you never wanted to go out of the country.
No, I didn't want to go out of the
country. to try to set up your own trade route.
No.
You were just happy making your millions of dollars and running your operation. But moving that much cocaine, I mean, you're talking about literally tons, metric tons of cocaine.
Not at one time.
But over time.
Yeah, over time.
But over time, and all of it is illegal, and all the cash is illegal. How do you keep an operation like that going with so many people, along with all the robberies that happen along the way?
With money, people get along for money.
Okay.
They'll work with people they don't like. It's one of my guys, Norm, said that I created one of the first peace treaties, where you could see Bloods and Crips on the same block selling dope, and they weren't fighting because everybody had started to understand that if you're fighting, the cops are going to come in and you won't be able to make no money.
Yeah, but with the cocaine business comes a lot of violence.
With the wrong people. It wasn't the cocaine that created the violence. I believe cash money creates violence.
True.
which kind of with the new business that I'm in now, in the marijuana business, we're hoping that the federal government open up the banks, because right now it's a cash business.
Oh yeah, you got to have big safes because you can't technically put it in the bank.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.